Okay, so I am glad to see you guys here on Thursday, April 18th. And this is my live streaming at noon on Thursdays. And today the topic is going to be walk before you run. So this is in response to questions from my clients, so many women who have been thinking about starting their own businesses. And please say hello on the comment bar so I know that you're watching and can address your questions. And if you'd rather just DM me later, that's fine too. I will respond to everybody that asks me any questions. And for those of you whom I haven't met, I'm Rebecca Moore of In a Nutshell Consulting, and I advise entrepreneurs on business development and sales and messaging clarity. And I am walking my talk about getting out on social media. And today I am live streaming on both YouTube and Facebook for the first time. I figured it out. Woohoo! And so give me a little shout out for doing that, but hope you will try it too. And I founded my own venturebacked.com. I'm the mother of three phenomenal daughters. I love working with early stage companies and small businesses, and I have a special affinity for helping women start and grow their own businesses after a career change, especially those who've never done it before but are really smart and motivated. And I use the term founder because the way I see it, there's a tremendous opportunity for women out here, especially those who've been running households and teams and have had all sorts of different experiences to create their own work on their own terms and not in big corporate America, but in their own communities and online. Some of these companies are designed to stay small, and some have the potential to grow into larger businesses. And the common thread here is that we're all smart people designing businesses to monetize our God-given talents and our hard-earned skill set and knowledge. So this weekly Facebook Live is intended to address pressing questions in real time that have been asked of me over the past few weeks, and to inspire those of you who are on the fence about starting your own business, or you're running your own business and you're stuck. So before we dig in, and we'll dig in just a minute, I have a few quick announcements for you. And this is about some events I'm running for female founders and business owners. Next Friday, a week from tomorrow, on April 26th, for those who have launched or are just starting a business, I'm running a hands-on masterclass in Boston at BU's Innovate Center with two other founders to help small business owners focus on three areas. One is how to manage your cash flow, and one is how to really think about marketing for a small business. And the third area is how to take on social media and the step-by-step approach for which channel you should be focusing on. So as a bonus to anybody who's listening today, I'm offering a discounted rate. Just DM me and I'll sign you up. And then on April 30th, I'm running a founders table in my Burlington office with a small group of founders, and we're going to roll up our sleeves and brainstorm and talk about best practices to maximize MailChimp for your business. So DM me and I will send you details and a private invitation. And finally, my next Pepper Lane Boost is going to be on May 10th at Lexington Wealth Management at 8:30 in the morning. And that's a roundtable for 9 founders. And we just talk about our businesses, feedback, and we practice our pitches. So now I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to segue into today's pressing question. And I wanted to share a recent experience that illustrates my point. Are you a creative person? Do you ever have a to-do list that spans 4 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper? Or do you ever sit down to work and come up with 10 other ideas for how to grow your business? Or better yet, even come up with another cool business idea that you could do on the side? Does any of that sound familiar? Well, last week I had a conversation with an incredibly creative entrepreneur who is considering a new business idea. And she told me her idea, super cool idea, and it's in a completely different area from her current business. She was wondering how much energy should she put into this new idea. So it was exciting and energizing conversation, and I could tell how passionate she was about this idea and its potential. I could totally relate. In fact, as part of the professional development in a startup that I've been working for the past 4 years, all leaders were required to take we call it a character strength assessment called VIA assessment. You may or may not have heard of it. It was incredibly informative, and I really recommend taking this assessment for all entrepreneurs. Similar to Myers-Briggs, but different. And after taking it, my top 3 leadership strengths were creativity, curiosity, and appreciation of beauty. But what this really meant was that these strengths come naturally to me, like writing with your right hand as opposed to your left hand. And to be happy in any job that I do, I need to really incorporate all 3 of these. Now, do you know why I wanted to start my own business? There you go. And conversely, what we were taught is that sometimes we can veer towards over-indexing in the things that we're good at. So that means relying too heavily on the things that come naturally to us. So what that meant is that there are areas that we should actively work on exercising our strengths in other areas. And that would be like self-regulation, prudence, ha, 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 right? I know my husband's laughing now. So I hope you're laughing with me and not at me because you can relate. So taking all this into consideration, coming back to my story, my advice to this entrepreneur was to walk before you run. And that's the topic for today. So what I mean by this is I totally understand when you're considering a new idea and you feel the urge to jump in before anyone else figures it out, because after all, timing's everything, right? So, however, I strongly recommend that before you pour your resources into a new idea, there are a few things that you would be wise to consider. And this is prudence speaking, right? So I will share a few of those with you, and that's our topic. So if you're considering a new idea, or if you're about to launch a business and you're just not sure where to start, here are some things that I recommend. First, and it sounds obvious, but consider the competition. There has never been an easier way or time in history to do a quick competitive analysis. So Google the topic. Okay, what comes up? What business industry does your idea fall under? Do you know anything about the industry? Who do you know that you can ask? Who are the current players in this industry? Are they reputable? Are they experienced? Are they well-funded? Or are they, tiny one-person shops? Maybe they're bootstrapping, or they have lots of typo. You can tell that they don't know what they're doing. Will your idea offer something brand new? How do you know? Who can you talk to who knows something in this area? So that's the first. Look at the competition. The second is, what is the opportunity? I mean, you want to start a business. How are you going to monetize this idea? How are you going to make money? All right. Is this something that people will pay for? Or is it just something nice to have? Well, how do you know? Why would they pay for this? Has anyone told you? Or are you just guessing? What are they paying for it now? Are they paying anything for it now? Or are they getting it free? Do they really need what you have to offer? How do you know? And if not, girl, you may not have a business. So that would be a really big red flag, okay? And then the third thing, if you've answered all those questions, is who is this customer? Who is this ideal customer? What do they look like? How many of them are there out there? That's what we call market size. Where do they hang out? And how do you know? All right. So these 3 things are what I mean by walk before you run. And after you have answered these questions, or you find some gaps or big questions, I recommend you conduct a small pilot test with a volunteer tester. All right. So I did refer to this a little bit last week, but find someone who's willing to help you pilot your idea, who would benefit from the experience. So maybe someone who's involved with the industry and wants some professional experience. Create a small scale free pilot to answer some of these questions. Pay the volunteer for their work, some little bonus, or give them some of your free services and give them a testimonial. Some of the ways that they can benefit too. So really, to conclude, a small pilot is one of the best ways to walk before you run. You'll gather a lot of information about the viability of your idea, and the end result should be a go or no go for your business idea. And what will it cost you? This is important. Your key expense is going to be the time that you invest in this project. And remember, any time invested in this project is time not spent with your existing business or whatever it is that you do the rest of the time. So ask yourself whether this new opportunity is worth that missed opportunity. And that's my message for today, folks. So thank you for tuning in, and make sure to tune in again next week. And I'll be here to answer more questions that people type in for me. And the next week, I think I will be covering, do I have what it takes? Do I have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? So if you want to stay in touch, subscribe to my newsletter and follow me on social. It's at in a nutshell CEO. That's in a nutshell CEO. Thanks. Toodaloo.